super sick of that. Get the show started. Soon as I get y'all up on my phone. Okay. Man, I gotta get with this computer. Like, okay. There we go. Uh, y'all like that song? Yeah, I do too. I wrote it. Okay. Let's start this watch party. All right. That song. Uh-uh. Should I get straight over on this computer? All right. It's time to get them started, y'all. All right. Coming up, the open eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. Okay, we on and popping. Come on in. Steve. All right. I see you, Steven. Those of us that indulge in or commit intellectual violence don't do so for the pleasure of mental masturbation or easily addicted. We do so because changing the impression that most of us is a deep and difficult pursuit. Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM, the education station. I'm your host and third eye optometrist, Patrice Gibbs, getting ready to make some people mad. Ooh, yeah, I like knowing that. You know I don't care about you getting mad at me. Yes, I'm going to open the eye whether you like it or not. That's word. I'm not gonna poke my finger in it. I'm gonna open it. I got a vat full of Vaseline for you, and we're getting ready to get it started right now. And just entering the studio is my partner in consciousness, Nsoromma. What's up, brother?
What's happening, brethren? What's happening, brethren?
All right. Yes, indeed. Like I said, and like I always tell you, don't wait till Saturday. Oh, I know you can't wait till Saturday 11 a.m. to get on the open eye, but you don't have to wait till Saturday because WHGE, the education station, has a full week of programming for you. And of course, we have the daily show at 6, Black History Facts and Reflections with our illustrious leader, Mr. Armin Carey. And as you tune in today, at what time is it? At 5. You will hear Alan Lawrence with the Week in Review. He will let you know what's going on. And like I said, I'm gonna make some people mad today.
Word.
Yeah, like I usually do.
I mean, we make some people mad just being the color we are. So
and just showing up. Let me check the Facebook Live here, make sure my man Nsoromma in there. Yes, indeed. And
what's up, everybody?
Okay. Yes, indeed.
Tune in. We get ready to light it up.
Yeah, that we are. Now, the reason I say I'm going to make some people mad, some people are going to tell me, Oh, that stuff you talking, you going to hell. Well, nah, I don't think so. Because if there is a Satan, he got a restraining order on my ass. You believe that?
Uh,
You know, you're not feeling very bright today, and this is where I'm going with this. You're not feeling bright today?
mhm.
Smile and remember there are grown adults, grown ass people who actually believe that two penguins walked all the way from Antarctica to the Middle East to get on board an ark built by a 500-year-old man. What the hell's wrong with y'all? Yeah. And you know, look, I like the question that Dick Gregory asked. Dick Gregory said, or he asked, if your slave master was not a Christian, what would you be?
If your slave master was not a Christian, what would you be?
Yeah.
As far as what type of human you would be, what type
Uh,
of religion you
what
believe
type of
in.
religion you would believe in?
I mean,
You know, and I know there's some people out there saying, "Oh, well, I would be a Muslim because that's their." No, no, it's not your original religion. The first thing you know, since we are predominantly Black Americans in this country are Christians. Let me tell you. So you mean to tell me that you believe that while the brutal enslaver was raping your grandmother and castrating and lynching your grandfathers, that amidst
wow.
this brutality, they gave them a religion to empower them? Moreover, that is the actual word of God. Are you kidding me? Let me tell you something about Islam and Christianity.
Both of them?
Both of them.
Okay.
Islam nor Christianity
Right.
did not become major religions by the quality of their truth, but by the quantity of their violence.
Say
Understand
that
that?
again. Say that again.
Okay.
I want. I gotta let that sink in.
I heard that.
All right.
Christianity and Islam
Right.
did not become major religions by the quality of their truth,
Okay.
but by the quantity of their violence. See,
That sound like America.
yeah, dude, don't it? Also sound like a lot of Arab countries. You know, one of the things that, of course, I'm going to talk about a little later too, that Dr. Clark teaches us is that Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, as practice,
Right.
are male chauvinist murder cults. That's a heavy, rough statement
I'm
indictment.
telling you, I
Oh
was
yeah,
that. Now that's super messy.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Wow.
Islam is the handmaiden of Arab imperialism. Christianity is the handmaiden of European imperialism. Okay, Judaism is the handmaiden of a people that have decided falsely that they are God's chosen people and have stolen land based on that claim. Male chauvinist murder cults. You know, I hear a lot.
I think that's. I think that's the individuals.
Yeah,
You
it's
understand?
the leadership
Right.
and how it's used.
And the manipulation of the brains that these preachers can insert into, like, you can have country music, rap music, all these people and avenues that's directing
Hmm.
ill stuff into people's brain, and they some people take it in and think it's real, and some
Hmm.
people
Hmm.
so it's really about the individual, I think.
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. This is what my mother taught me. Whatever mythology, and they're all mythologies,
Right.
that you use to come to God, as long as you practice it with integrity,
And good
faith,
grace.
and good grace,
Right.
you know. But
But
as practice, like I said, as practice, these religions are male chauvinist murder cults. I know a lot of people are like, well, how can you say that about my religion? And what have you? Okay, let me tell you something. Your religious beliefs are not sacred or immune to criticism.
right,
They,
anything can be criticized.
that's right.
Okay.
They are beliefs in your head based on where you were born. That's a big factor. How you were raised and who influenced you. Simply having religious beliefs does not make them true or obligate others to respect them. So please, for everyone's sake, wake up and educate yourself.
And I think religion lies within the you as a creation of human mankind.
Mm-hmm.
Like a tree's grown.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a seed. It takes a lot for that tree to get 4,000 years old. That's out there in the forest.
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying? So the seed that we have came together from nothing, sperm cells to connecting. That's all in the creation of the above creator of all creations to be able to do that. So there's no man, there's no hand from man in that period. So anything else after that is opinions to me.
I heard that. Well, see, that's why, one, I don't claim quote unquote religion. You know, I'm a spiritual person.
Right. I'm a spiritual person too.
Yeah.
I'm so spiritual that I can feel energies from individuals. You don't have to even talk to me. It's like I was blessed to run fast. I was blessed to have that particular gene also. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't have that either. So it's,
you know, that's called intuition.
Yeah, intuition is serious.
You know, like I said, you know what, being spiritual people, what we feel and understand is that we are not humans seeking spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience.
Of course, because we were the spiritual first.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, now, you know, not being a Christian does not mean I'm an atheist. I'm not. I do pray. However, rather than praying to the God of my enslavers and the God that they created,
hung on the wall. I can remember back in the day, my parents had the picture of Jesus on the wall, real nice big John, and I used to be like mixed up about that.
Yeah, of course, you know.
I mean, that's what I mean, the deception on how the media can program you to do and be and think, and that's like the ultimate war tool.
Of course, because you know what? When people conquer you, the first thing they do is conquer your sense of yourself and your God, and to give you what their sense of God is. You know, during slavery, one of the tricks that the slave owners used was when they would feed a slave, they would give them a bowl, and in the bottom of the bowl would be a picture of white Jesus. So when you finish eating,
you seeing that and saying, "Oh, thank you." Thank you. See,
that's that propaganda. That's the indoctrination. That's the brainwashing.
That's the bamboozle.
That's the
ragamuffin. Led astray. All of that.
You know, and like I said, give you something.
Cheeks.
My
Graves, what's up?
My mother, of course, was a major influence on who I am.
Right.
And one of the things my mother taught me was,
Sherry.
Hey, Sherry,
was
that most people are either too lazy or too afraid to learn beyond what they've been indoctrinated into. And that's a big problem for our people. We are talking about intuition and how you can feel things.
Right.
Let me tell you how the universe is sending you signs and why. If you are consciously pursuing something, putting all your belief, thought, and intention into it, the universe will send you signs of confirmation that you are on the right path. Remember that this works with both positive and negative, as the universe does not know the difference. It merely sets to manifest whatever it is you want. It can show up as synchronicities, people showing up at the right time, epiphanies, repetitive signs. You start to notice as you continue on your path.
Okay.
All these things are confirmation of the direction that you are already headed in. Essentially, acting as a mirror of yourself. You're just yourself pushed out. When you start to see these signs show up in your life, you are able to attract to you what it is that you want by magnetizing it. everything just seems to feel right and flow smoothly.
Right. I believe that.
Yeah, and I had to start off on a little spirituality this morning, to give our people some awareness
Hey.
and what have you. Um, Another thing, just to give you another idea, like I said, my mother is a major influence.
Uh-huh.
When I was a teenager, I was part of Black Man's Development Center. Some people that know me might know this story. Black Man's Development Center, they were some serious brothers doing some great work in the community.
Right.
And, to be part of that was like, it's the hip militant thing to do. We're talking about the mid 70s and what have you, and all the brothers and sisters, they had the sharp uniforms
Right.
and what have you. Well, all the brothers and sisters in Black Men's Development Center were Muslim. Okay. So, to be part of that, a lot of the young people come along, but the hip militant thing to do was to be Muslim.
Okay.
To join the religion of Islam, me included.
Okay.
Now, I didn't have some religious epiphany and decide I wanted to be a Muslim. It was the hip militant thing to do. So I decided that I was a Muslim. All I had to do was tell my mother, who made me go to church every Sunday.
Okay.
I went home, screwed up my courage, and announced to my mom,
Okay.
Mom, I'm a Muslim now. Right? And just, step back waiting for the fireworks,
Okay.
Right? Instead of fireworks, my mother said, okay, I was going to cook some pork chops. You want some chicken? Muslim, I know you don't eat no pork.
Right.
No, ma'am. Oh, yes, ma'am. Yeah. I'm like surprised now. So a couple of days later, my mom tells me, something on your bed for you. Okay. So I'm like, okay. So I go look on my bed. Well, it's a kufi and a Quran.
Okay.
I just thumbed through the Quran. I went,
it was already there?
Yeah, it was there. She told me. Go look on the bed. There's something there for you.
Okay.
Right? So, I just looked at the Quran. I put the kufi on, ran and jumped in the mirror.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm on my way out. My mom says, hold on, let me get a look at you. So I stopped and she walked around me. She said, Muslim now, huh, son? Yes, ma'am. Standing proud and
Right.
because I can't wait to get out here for the brothers to see my kufi.
Right.
See how Islamic I am.
Okay.
All right. My mom said, Assalamu alaikum. I didn't know she knew that.
Okay.
Oh, wa alaikum salam. Then my mother said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
And you ain't know what she
I
said.
didn't know what she said.
All praises due to something.
Okay. All praises due to Allah.
Yeah.
In the name of Allah. I'm like, oh. She said, yeah. You don't know what I said, do you, son? No, ma'am. She said, yeah. Let me tell you something. You are not going to play at Islam. If you are going to be a Muslim, you're going to be a practicing Muslim.
Right.
You will learn to make salat. You will learn the difference between the hadith and the Quran.
Okay.
You will learn the 5 tenets of Islam. You will pray 5 times a day.
Right.
You are going to Jama'ah services Friday.
Right. You gonna assume the role.
Yeah.
Right.
I ain't signed up for all that.
But you just wanted to look the look.
Yeah, I just wanted to look the look. I played the role. I ain't signed up for all that. Well, it didn't just stop there with her telling me so. She meant that.
Right.
So Saturday morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, get up in there.
5 in the morning.
5 in the morning. What in the world's going on? Right? So she gets me up and I'm like, yo, what's what? It's time for morning prayer. Go wash up for morning prayer. Your prayer rugs under the bed. East is that way. All right? And I'm like, oh my God. So, had to do what I had to do.
Right.
She stood over and made sure that I made all the right.
Did all the right stuff. You
didn't
realize that she was already that deep into it already.
I had no idea she had any knowledge of this. She's blowing my mind. And when I'm out in the street hanging out, here she comes. Pat, what? Come on. What? Go wash up. Time for prayer.
Right.
5 times a day. She was on it. And then she quizzing me. What's the difference between the Hadith and the Quran? What's the difference between Orthodox Islam and the Nation of Islam? What's the difference between the Shia and the Sunni? Oh, you don't know? Sit down.
Right. You ain't even
Time to
going
study.
nowhere till you learn it.
You
Right.
have time to study.
Yeah, but the
You know.
parents these days is not like that on
No.
they're not like that on their kids.
Yeah.
And that's the sad part about the what's going on now. This such a my boy was saying a microwave world. Like we used to have to write the letter and send the letter, put it in the mail, and it's
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks you get it. You
Mm-hmm.
can be sitting right next to me and I can write you something and you get it in your phone and you read your phone without
Yeah.
yeah,
Without
that's
socializing, just
right.
sitting right there. You know.
So it's like it's just super messy now because the kids are so microwave people and
Mm-hmm.
kids
Mm-hmm.
because it's this is leaked into the society. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So
That's right.
everything is moving so fast that you don't have time to make a decision or know if it's a good decision. And by the time you make it, you don't. It could be a bad decision. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And you so fast to be able to make it so quick now that
Mm-hmm.
it can be the wrong decision.
Right.
It can be right at that second, but if you sat and think about it for about 6 more minutes, it
Mm-hmm.
would have been a wrong decision.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
You know, and parents don't do like my mother did. She educated herself so that she could be prepared to educate me.
Right. You got to
Okay.
be into whatever your kids is into so they can really know how to do it properly.
That's right.
Because if not, they're going to just be directed into whatever it may be and whoever's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the DC sniper. The boy was good with the gun.
Right. Right.
So,
You know. So after about a month of her instructions of Islam, I had enough.
okay.
And, you know, you know, and I told her so, you know, and then waited for, you know, the lecture or whatever it was going to be. But instead, she said, okay, there's something on your bed for you. All right. Now, my mom was so smart. She was always 3 steps ahead of me, you know. So I go look on my bed, and there's a hat box, and there's a book. And the name of the book, which I still had, was Wonderful Ethiopians of the Ancient Kushite Empire. And there was a note, this is for your summer book report due 2 weeks before school. This was normal. This is what she
Right.
did, you know. I opened the hat box, and it's a straw fedora. I took that kufi off and put that fedora on so fast I didn't know what to do. That's word. But the book that she gave me was her opening me up to different spiritualities and to African spirituality. So what she did was she allowed me to explore something beyond Christianity. And then when she saw that I had the heart to move beyond what I had already been taught, then that's when she knew she could open the door to even more.
Right.
You know, yeah, my mom was one hell of a woman, bro.
Bless her soul.
Yes, indeed.
Linwood, what's
This is the Open
good?
Eye.
WHGE. Yeah. Facebook, what's good, yo? Good job for tuning in. Yo, share us, you know what I'm saying? Sherry, what's good?
Yeah.
Hey, yo, Linwood, what's up, fam?
Mm-hmm.
April.
That's where there's some other people over here. Raymond Evans, Stephen Leach.
Right.
Big ups, big ups. That's where. Back to the show. 95.3 FM, WHGE. Patrice Gibbs and Nsoromma on the air.
Yeah.
You know. Now, I know you've been hearing about the coronavirus.
Listen, did you see that I had put a corona cure on my webpage, on my Facebook page. I think I got the cure. I found a cure.
Okay.
So
Okay, I'm
y'all
gonna
gotta go check that out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to take a look at your webpage, brother.
Yeah.
That's word. Because that's this thing is really deep.
But did you know that the Lysol can, the 99.99999 Lysol can, you just spray that, keep that sprayed in your house and sprayed up so you can't take some germs in your house because the coronavirus was on that can.
Yeah.
So this is
know,
not
people have been showing that on Facebook.
This is not a new disease.
No,
this is a disease that they already had to control the population, so-called. You know, population control. You feel what I'm saying?
You know, the interesting thing about what you just said was, you know, there was a lot of protests going on in China before this coronavirus came up.
Right. And they was going through like new government status like protests.
Yeah.
Like trying to change over because they was feeling though they was treated so wrong.
Everybody went around sick. Ain't nobody protesting.
Right, they done sent a truck through there,
Yeah.
that night, the spray truck, letting the mist off and doing what they do.
Yep. Now the Orange Disaster said that here it'll be over. And there's some cases here because a ship came in California, and there was a whistleblower who told on these people and how they met these coronavirus evacuees with no training and no protection.
Wow.
Yeah. That's word. And officials from the Department of Health and Human Services sent more than a dozen ill-equipped workers to California earlier this month to receive the Americans evacuated from Wuhan, China. According to the whistleblower's 24 pages of complaints this whistleblower put out. Now, this whistleblower, I know I got her name.
Niece, what's up, Mark? Corey?
What's her name?
That's good.
Okay, but at any rate, this whistleblower um, is asking for.
It's called the COVID-19, right?
Yeah,
It's really not the coronavirus.
right.
The government calls it the
COVID-19.
COVID-19. So that's not a newly created virus to me. That sounds like something that's out the lab.
We up to number 19 on that.
Right. This is number 19.
Yeah.
What you mean? That sounds like it's created. That's something that was created. So that sounds like to me.
Yeah, that's word. Now Trump, all people, appointed Vice President Mike Pence to oversee the operations related to preventing the outbreak. Mike Pence, who is a science denier. Mike Pence doesn't believe in medicine and science. He doesn't believe that that there's climate change and that you need to do anything other than pray to God and your disease will go away.
Wow.
Yeah, and this is who he puts in charge of this.
But did you hear Trump told the board one of the dudes that's representing the spokesman for the this
is the CDC?
The CDC.
Oh, he fired the CDC.
He told him to shut up.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, he was."
Yeah, he fired him.
He told him to shut up.
And then
I was like, "What?"
And then
he don't want the people to know. Yo, listen, y'all. Then this is straight up. You have to pay attention to what's happening and what's going on and the control that's trying to be taken. It's trying to become a dictatorship. You see what I'm saying? And I, for one, don't want to be caught in the middle of their whatever they doing. You know what I'm saying?
I heard that. I don't know what the United States expects us to do if we do catch this virus, because you can't afford the bill to go get tested, and I sure as hell can't afford 3 weeks to self-quarantine.
Right.
See, capitalism built a system where you can't afford to do the right thing.
That's just wow.
Yeah, that's just crazy as hell, man. That's just crazy as hell. But this is the mess that they do.
Wow. There.
The open eye.
Yeah.
I gotta take a station break, bro.
Hey, yo, what's good? You know what it is. WHGE 95.3 FM. Yo, thank y'all for tuning in. You know what I'm saying? You got something you want to talk about, hit us up, text us, share it. Do everything to keep in touch. We are the community information. You know what I'm saying? Yo. You wave, I wave. That's how I go. Dig me? Yeah. So I'm waiting for the brother to get back so we can go a little bit deeper into, you know, what we gonna be doing and talking about.
Station right.
Yeah.
All right, all right.
Tasty Foods. Hey, yo, what's up? Hit me the address where you at. You know what I'm saying? So I can share. Come on, man. Quit playing. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Denise, what's up? Linwood, what's up? You coming this way? Or you want me come that way? They shooting outside the studio. I hope they ain't hit my car.
Oh,
You know,
my good
that's
Lord.
crazy. You know what I mean? I
Oh,
don't even
God.
want to look because they might have hit them through the window or something.
Jeez Louise.
Wow.
Open Eye, back live on the air.
True, true.
All right, all right. Now, tell you something. The day is February 29th. Leap year, you only get the 29th every 4 years. It's the last day of Black History Month.
And
Okay.
yo, the last day of Black History Month, they got the Confederate people throwing a party at a hotel in somewhere.
Yeah, that's their ignorance. That's where I expect no less from them.
Wow. Did you hear
Yeah,
about the military's Marine general throwing all the correct Confederate stuff off his
yes,
base?
yeah, yeah. He said we ain't having that. The
Right.
Confederates were traitors. That's what they
That's
were.
crazy.
They were trying to take America down
Right.
so they could keep slavery. They were traitors. But let me tell you something. Black History Month. One of the things that I hate to hear uh, during Black History Month, when Black History Month comes up,
Right.
is for Black people to say, they gave us the shortest month. They gave us the shortest month to celebrate our. Shut up. Shut up. Right there. Right there. You telling me you don't know your history. Soon you complain about they gave us the shortest month. That tells me right there that your ass ain't been studying our history, or you wouldn't know. You would know what day. What day are they talking
Who?
about?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. See, that's just it. They talking about white people getting no. Black History Month started as Negro History Week. It was started by educator Carter G. Woodson, a
Right.
black man,
Right.
and it was 1 week in February. He chose February. This black man chose February.
So he wasn't manipulated into choosing February?
No, nope,
Oh, okay.
because it was the birth month of Frederick Douglass. The week that he chose was actually the second week. Was it the second week in February?
Right.
February the 12th was is Frederick Douglass' birthday, and I think February 14th is Abraham Lincoln's birthday. And of course, Lincoln was known to rob, quote unquote, free the slaves, which he actually didn't. The Union
Right.
Army
Right.
freed the slaves, and slaves had a hand in freeing them damn selves at any rate. But that's the point is that he started that for us to wake up and start studying our history. Okay, and of course, Negro History Week uh, grew into Black History Month. So we took
Okay.
the whole month of February just to recognize our history. That didn't mean that he intended for you to only take February to recognize and study your history.
I
Okay,
think it shouldn't even be a month. It should be Black History period. It's not a
yeah.
month. It's just a straight uh, uh, Black History
But
period. You know what I'm
but
saying?
you got to consider, of course, when Carter G. Woodson instituted this, it was in 1926.
No, okay.
Okay, February of 1926.
But I'm still
Okay,
that
and we weren't learning a damn thing about our history in 1926. We barely understood who we were.
we wasn't always captive like this
No,
and enslaved and captive. I mean, before that it was way deeper things going on.
of
You know what I'm
course.
saying? So I don't just get stuck in this slavery thing that we
Oh
were in
no,
at that time. I go
no,
further back than that and
of
find that
course.
we were really intelligent beings. You know
Well,
what I'm
of course,
saying?
what I always say was that they did not kidnap slaves from Africa. They kidnapped doctors and lawyers and
Right, they
craftsmen.
kidnapped the best of the best at whatever they
That's
was doing.
exactly what they
Right,
did.
it's all strategically done. And if you
Indeed.
understand the word strategically, which I know many of you do,
Mm-hmm.
that's what's applied in this governmental grain.
Mm-hmm.
Strategic things to be
Mm-hmm.
done.
That's what, which is why we have to be strategic, not only in our thought, but in our action and in the way that we participate in this society.
Right.
Because if we're not, and if we just keep going along willy-nilly, and being reactionary instead of being proactive and revolutionary,
Right.
then we're never going to advance as a people. Now one of the one of my other greatest influences beside my mother, and knowing about him is a result of my mother's influence, was Dr. John Henry Clark. A lot of people don't know about Dr. John Henry Clark.
Right.
Dr. John Henry Clark, who was Malcolm X's tutor in Black history. A lot of people don't know that. Okay. But when Malcolm was in the nation and he was learning our history, and when he left the nation, it was Dr. John Henry Clark who tutored him in our history. That's where a lot of Malcolm's knowledge came from, because Dr. Clark saw to it that he had the books to read,
Right.
that he understood who we were. Dr. John Henry Clark was an African American writer, historian, and Africana studies scholar who founded associations to support the study of Black culture. John Henry Clark, born in January 1915 in Alabama. His family later moved to Georgia. And when he left by freight train and went to Harlem, New York, as part of the Great Migration of rural African Americans out of the South. And this was where he started his self-education, learning our history, because he's very much self-educated. What I want to do is give you some quotes from Dr. Clark.
Yeah, 21 concept.
Okay. For instance, on control.
Okay.
Dr. Clark said, to control a people, you must first control what they think about themselves, how they regard their history and culture. And when your conqueror makes you ashamed of your culture and your history, he needs no prison walls and no chains to hold you.
Okay, stop. Now let's break that down. What you think that they applied in that situation to make that happen? I mean, what are they using that you can see? What tools are they using that you can see for that control right there? Elaborate on that a little.
Okay. One of the first things that they've used
was
religion.
I know. That's one of the main things.
One of the main things.
Right. So they use religion, and what else?
Well, religion,
economy,
education or lack thereof.
Right. It's educate. That's three things so far.
Okay.
What else?
And breakdown of your family.
Oh yeah, the separation of the man
from the family.
So it's, you can see that it's not very far fetched that this could be going on right now.
Right now.
Okay, what's the next one, brother?
Now. Okay, the next one. Let's see. Let's go with racism. Okay. Racists will always call you a racist when you identify their racism. That's all. To love yourself now is a form of racism. We are the only people who are criticized for loving ourselves. And white people think when you love yourself, you hate them. No, when I love myself, they become irrelevant to me. Dr. Clark.
Right. Hold up now. Check it out. Me and my brother Tech, GRB, we was talking about, okay, now this is what I recognize. I like food. I eat, so I eat out a lot. You know what I'm saying? So eating out a lot. From eating out a lot, I noticed that every nationality has, or culture has, a restaurant strip. You have an Italian restaurant strip. You have the white people restaurant strip. You have the Chinese strip. But you can never go to a soul food strip. Soul food restaurant strip. Now, all of these people that has money that's black and all of that, and is not investing in their community. Whereas though you got a niece that went to culinary art school and she's the best culinary art out of her whole year and graduated top of her class, and you have all this money and you didn't set her up a restaurant. I mean, that's not the plan.
No.
It will never come up doing that type of stuff.
No.
So I'm just saying we have to become a unit also.
And we have to learn
racism,
ourselves.
They'll get mad and come burn it down like they did everything else.
Street,
but then we have to turn around and go burn everything down they have. But would that be right? No. So I mean, it's even deeper than the fight. Because that's a fight when you're going back and forth. That's like, somebody shoot somebody over West Side, then somebody come over North Side, shoot somebody, and then it's back and forth. And that go on for 60 years.
Okay.
What's the remedy?
The remedy is unity.
Right.
And investing in ourselves.
Right.
Which we seem to have a problem doing. Like you were saying. Now, I saw a photo of a group of people. They were sports stars and music stars and this, that, and the other. And in that photo, the collective wealth of the people in that photo had to be a good $1 billion.
Right.
And they popping bottles and
in the photo,
flashing jewelry.
And yet that's why I like Tupac so much, man. He was way more than a rapper or MC slash. You know what I mean?
He was a very well informed. He on his way to being a revolutionary.
And if it was more of them out there, like I'm saying myself also, so we need this. We need this, our people. So we're gonna have to start networking and uniting with each other and put down that what you call it, animosity that you got. You got animosity,
and that animosity is influenced by them.
Right, the animosity we have for each other, it has an influence behind that, so we can't be united together. So I just say, let's do it.
That quote speaks to what happens when we do support ourselves. Okay,
right.
What happens is, just to give you an idea. I can't remember the brother's name, but he got online and said, "Black women are beautiful." Well, a group of white women assailed him and said, "Well, what about white women?" He said, "Well, I'm not talking about white women right now. I'm talking about black women." And see, this is what happens when we do for self. Okay, when we do for self, we get shook up when white people come along,
or something gets, or it's act like it's a broader.
Yeah, like when you do spread this out.
No, but the conversation is black. Right, but we need to talk about we're talking about
exactly.
And when we talk about white, we talk about white. Yeah, we talk about Chinese, we talk about Chinese. Yep. Don't we?
We talking about us now.
Right.
Okay, and we know what you do and what you got to do and this, that, and the other. See, here's the thing, all right. Once again, I'm quoting Dr. Clark.
Okay.
I am not racist.
Okay.
However, I am racial in that I will support my own, and I grant you the right to do so for yourself. But leave me alone when I do for mine. Dr. Clark. Liberation. Every single thing that touches your life, religious, socially, and politically, must be an instrument of your liberation or throw it in the trash can of history. And this last one, I love this one that Dr. Clark says. Okay. And I saw Dr. Clark in a scholarly debate with scholars from from different universities, from all over, and what have you. They had all of them speak first. Yeah, and they're getting up there, and they're second, right, this, that, the other, and finally Dr. Clark got up and he said,
"Okay,
I don't know, why y'all calling this a debate, because only debate my equals. All others I teach." This is the Open Eye.
WHGE 95.3 FM.
Housing
Yeah.
services. WHGE's housing goal
Yon,
I love that quote.
what's good? What you up to? You up to shop? I probably swing too. Mitch, Delaware, Team Delaware, what's good? Yo, you know what it is. Sister Ra, what's good? What's good? Yo, Marv, I ain't seen you in a minute, yo. Link up. Hit me up where you be at. You should check me every Saturday, 11 to 12 on the open eye, though. You know what I'm saying? 95.3 FM2 on the radio if you're in the car, too. Yaga!
All right, all right.
Mr. Gibbs in the building.
Yes,
What's good, brother?
educating them, bro.
Educating them, yo.
Yeah,
We always trying to drop science and knowledge.
yeah. You caught me Black History Month, but you ain't got to wait till then.
Right. You can get
Yeah.
this anytime.
Anytime.
DePonte, what's up, homie?
All right. The open eye. Now, being Black History Month, one of the things that a lot of Black people want to recognize is the accomplishments of the NAACP. Well, you know, they were instrumental in desegregating schools, and they participated in, you know, this, that, and the other in the March on Washington and yeah, I feel you, because see, what you know and what I know is that a lot of our people don't really know the history of the NAACP.
Okay.
Okay, and what a lot of people don't know about the NAACP is when and how it came to be.
Well, why don't you break it down a little bit?
I'm gonna break it down, brother. Okay, now what a lot of people think is that it came out of an event or a group called the Niagara Movement. Now, the Niagara Movement was a civil rights group founded in 1905 near Niagara Falls. Scholar and activist W.E.B. Du Bois gathered with supporters on the Canadian side of Niagara Falls,
Right.
and they were on the Canadian side of Niagara Falls because Black people couldn't get hotel rooms on the American side at the time. That's why they were, yeah. So that's why they were on the Canadian side.
Okay, right.
Okay, and what they did was they formed this organization and dedicated to social and political change for African Americans. It had a list of demands that included an end to segregation and discrimination in unions, the courts, public accommodations, as well as equality, economic and educational opportunity. Okay. Now, like I said, what a lot of people think is that out of the Niagara movement came the NAACP. Okay. Now, although the Niagara movement attracted the attention of like-minded whites, it had little impact on legislative or popular opinion. Now, after the riots of Springfield in 1909, a group of whites who had, been somewhat influenced by the Niagara movement, a group of white progressives, including social worker Jane Addams, philosopher John Dewey, novelist William Dean Howells, and editor Oswald Garrison, formed the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. All those people were white. Okay, the NAACP was not started by W.E.B. Du Bois. All those people were white. Now, their executive committee consisted of all white people with the exception of one person who attended their forming conferences along with Ida B. Wells. Okay, the one person was W.E.B. Du Bois, who sat on the executive board, but he was not in a decision-making position.
Exactly.
Right.
So it really wasn't nothing that he could do. He could only just say things that he would like to be done, and they go, "Oh man."
Well, what they did was they made him director of publicity. And so he started the Crisis magazine, which a lot of Black people read. He was the editor of the Crisis magazine and what have you. But, like I said, his influence was minimal. His ability to dictate any policy for the NAACP was minimal. And eventually, because he could not have the impact that he wanted in the NAACP, W.E.B. Du Bois quit the NAACP and stopped managing the crisis, and of course they brought someone else in. Now, what the NAACP did, this white fraternal organization, because that's what it was. What they did was they had the NAACP. They formed local factions and allowed those local factions to be headed by black people. Okay. Now, one of the most important things that came out of the NAACP was a young brother that went to the NAACP office, feeling that, he's going to help with this work.
Right.
And when he got there, was nobody there that looked like him. And that was Marcus Garvey.
Wow.
Because all the people were light, bright, damn near white or white.
Right.
And he thought, well, shoot, there's nothing here for me here. So this is what motivated Marcus Garvey to move on from that and form the Universal Negro Improvement Association. Okay, now that's one myth I felt compelled to bring it into.
Right.
Another myth is Booker T. Washington. A lot of people don't know about Booker T, because what a lot of people believe about Booker T, because of the speech that he gave in Atlanta, was that Booker T was a handkerchief here.
A handkerchief here?
Yeah.
What you mean by that?
Well, that he was a sellout.
Oh.
Uncle Tom.
Oh, okay.
I hate to say Uncle Tom.
Sam, but Uncle Tom is
was really, hero.
He really was a gangster.
Yeah, Uncle Tom was. So I just use that term, but I want people to understand.
And they seem to do that with our gangsters.
Yeah.
Turn our gangsters into myths.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. Yeah, take our warriors and turn them into myths and downplay their role. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That they played. Yeah. But
now the speech, which was termed the Atlanta Compromise by W.E.B. Du Bois, actually upset a lot of people. What people don't understand about the Atlanta Compromise speech, because of the things that he said. See, in the speech, Booker T said, in all things that are purely social, as far as black and whites, we can be as separate as fingers. What he was saying was, I had no problem with segregation. Yet, as one hand in all things essential to mutual progress, okay, we'll leave you alone with your political thing. Okay, that's what he was saying. In return, African Americans want to remain peaceful, socially separate from whites. The white community needs to accept responsibility for improving the social and economic conditions of Americans of all skin colors. Okay, this notion of shared responsibility is what became known as the Atlanta Compromise. What Booker T was saying was, I don't give a damn about sitting next to you in the opera.
Right.
Okay.
Using the same bathroom
and all
that. That's not what is needed.
What I want to do is educate my people vocationally so that they can live, raise money, and build their community. Yes, I understand what W.E.B. Du Bois wanted was that, this intellectual education, where our people learn to speak Greek and Latin and this, that, and the other, but what, and that we would be accepted into the community and integrated in the community.
Right.
Well, Booker T said, well, yeah, we'll be integrated in the community, but before we can even approach that, we have to get our thing together.
Our own.
Okay. Now, the way he presented that speech, because the speech was all things to all people, the way he kicked it. Right?
Okay.
It made whites feel real comfortable. And because whites had decided that what they needed to do was to produce someone who could be called the leader of Black America.
Right.
Okay. And when they heard that speech from Booker T, they was like, oh, this our man right here. Okay. So what Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest men of the time, did was he felt so good about what Booker T had to say, he deposited $500,000. We're talking about
back in the day,
1900. $500,000, like damn near $1 billion now.
Right.
I might be exaggerating, but you get my point, right? And he told Booker T every year, draw the interest off of that. So Booker T made some more speeches, and these white, corporatists, because who were actually really a bunch of thugs,
Okay.
okay, who were after they had made their money through their thuggery,
Right.
okay, decided that the best way to show generosity and philanthropy was to give black people some money. So give Booker T some more money. Now all those people that those black people who were so quote unquote black activists and this, that, and the other
Right.
at the time who were critical of Booker T, where's the school you built? Because Booker T built Tuskegee Institute. And Booker T financed Spelman and Morgan and Lincoln and a host of other schools. Where's the school you built? Since you want to talk all this back about what Booker T was, where's the school you built?
I mean, and they don't do that even now. Even the people that can be as great as they are, they can be greater from what they've accumulated from their finances. Their finances can make them greater, and their legacy can be left throughout the history of the planet if they do it right, like the Egyptian,
Right.
pyramid. If you build something that just takes and generalizes and uplifts the economy of social people, period, humanity. It wasn't just directed as blacks. Yeah, it was for blacks, but we weren't the kind of people that'll go, you can't come in here.
Right.
That's just not us. That's not in our character.
Right.
So I mean, it was for blacks, yes, but it was welcome to all, anyone that wanted to learn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And HBCUs are open to all races now. Okay. Now, one of the things about W.E.B. Du Bois was his W.E.B. Du Bois fell into this acceptance that came up, this thing that Northern white liberals came up with, called the talented 10.
The talented 10.
Yes, the talented 10 is a term that designated a leadership class of African Americans in the early 20th century. The term, like I said, was created by Northern white philanthropists and then publicized by W.E.B. Du Bois, who went along with this. Now, here's the thing about W.E.B. Du Bois. W.E.B. Du Bois was actually in favor of black eugenics. Now, what's eugenics? What's that mean?
Right.
Okay. Selective breeding. So he thought that, by,
get this smartest person to give this smartest person, and we get them two together, we'll have a super smart person.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Now,
Hitler.
Yeah. And this is what E.B. Du Bois was in favor of. Now, E.B. Du Bois, W.E.B. Du Bois, who was a graduate from Harvard, he did a lot of great work as far as his study of black Americans at that time, blacks in America at that time. He wrote a book called The Souls of Black Folk, where he actually went in the street, interviewed black people, and gave everyone an understanding of who and what we were in the oppression that we were living in. Okay, I do salute his work on that. Okay, but one thing I have to tell you, like I say, this elitism, was he, was he a sellout? Was he a coon? Was W.E. Wow, that's arguable,
That's one of the messy.
Messy,
but
okay. What he was an elitist and an aristocrat, like I said, who embraced this talented 10th thing, which was came up with by Northern white liberals, and this great desire to integrate, okay, is what made him a problem. Now, he spoke strongly against Booker T. Now, the thing between him and Booker T did not raise to the level of a quote unquote fight, but it was a difference of opinion in the way of doing things. Now, what W.E.B. Du Bois figured was that once Booker T died, that he would inherit the mantle of leadership that Booker T had, because Booker T was basically the president of Black America, at that time. And this was W.E.B. Du Bois' major problem, was that he thought he would inherit that and be recognized as the undisputed leader of Black America. However, Du Bois could not connect nor communicate with the masses of people the way Marcus Garvey could. And Du Bois became very jealous and bitter and was actually instrumental in taking Garvey down.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where that jealousy, envy, and animosity, all
Mm-hmm.
that comes in effect. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but karma's a bee, ain't it?
Yeah.
Because what happened was he was eventually stripped of any power he had in that WACP and left the country bitter and defeated and just barely grasping to the position of elder statesman of black intellectualism. He lived his last days in Ghana. You know, there was just a little barely respect for him as an elder.
Right.
Because ain't nobody forget what you did.
Yeah.
You know, ain't nobody forget what you did. So,
like that's past the generations. That's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is, you know, and so, you know, these are some, you know, some myths that need to be dispelled here in
Haroon, what's
February
up?
and Black History Month.
Joe, yeah, we dropping a little Black History science. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. It's more than radio around these parts, you dig?
That's what it is, brother. That's
Open Eye Radio
on WHGE 95.3 FM.
Yaga.
You know, we play a whole lot of music today.
Just right.
Yeah. You know, but some people like that, though. You know?
Yo, what's good, y'all?
Well, get ready to close it on out here.
Yo, I thank y'all for tuning in. I'm Nsoromma and
Patrice Gibbs.
And yo, this is the Open Eye Radio Show every Saturday, 11 to 12 p.m. You dig me? Tune in. Yaga. Peace.
Oh, like I said, you know, I'm gonna make some people mad today. And they're like, oh, you know, I mean, we make some people mad just being the color of yours. So
live video.
Just show okay. Let me check the Facebook Live. All right, let me do this. Black men are a targeted group living in danger and oppression. This has been so from the founding of this country. Neither emancipation, the Civil War, the Civil Rights Movement, Black Power, nor the election of a black man has changed this. We have and must always move intelligently. We cannot afford to live in fear. We must always be conscious of the forces arrayed against us and stand up to the forces determined to devalue our lives. We cannot be ruled by reactionary regression. We must be proactive in the extreme, revolutionary, because our condition is extreme. We should never allow one instance of injustice to go unanswered because the instance will be an escalation. We teach people how to treat us. And like I always tell you, destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays. Therefore, value those who value you, and don't treat those as a priority who treat you as an option. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
I'm Nsoromma.
This is the Open Eye.
WHGE 95.3 FM. Yeah.
Good job, so thank you. All right. See y'all next time. Always join us with an open eye. And keep an eye out. I will be starting back up my street commentary.
Vaughn, Sherry, y'all.
Big ups.
Y'all be there. Y'all be hanging.
All right.